Hello everyone. Today is already January 7th, 2026. I want to wish everyone a happy new year and wish you all great profits this year. And may all your goals come true. In general, I hope everything works out for you this year. So let's get started. Let's begin another review and the weekly market overview. And we will start with a very important question that was raised from the previous post, which we will now address. A question about MicroStrategy. Will it follow this cycle? I've already written in previous posts and also published on TradingView that what awaits MicroStrategy, and I don't expect anything good, and very soon it might even be completely excluded from the major indexes. This significant development could negatively affect MicroStrategy and other related funds in the long term, which is a crucial consideration for investors and market stability, which are right here. Let's quickly zoom in. But there is a post where I talked about MicroStrategy specifically, that it will be completely excluded from the financial indexes, as well as those investment funds that currently have more than 50% of their total balance in various cryptocurrencies. A significant question about Bitcoin Cash. Let's thoroughly discuss the topic of Bitcoin itself. Cash. The owner is Roger Ver. So he is a major Bitcoin holder and he created the fork and he is the main beneficiary of this project. I only use Bitcoin Cash to speed up Bitcoin transactions. For example, if someone sends you Bitcoin with a fee of 1 Satoshi, your transaction will take 100 years to go through. And you can use Bitcoin Cash to speed up this transaction. Most people don't know this, but here's a life hack for you. Because there are some ill-intentioned people, especially during exchanges, who send Bitcoin when exchanging it for other fiat currencies. You transfer the money, and they set the fee to just 1 Satoshi, claiming that the network is overloaded. And the transaction will eventually go through. And then, after some time, they might even cancel the transaction, and you won't receive the Bitcoin, so be careful. And well, that's it. Mostly just thanks here. That's it. Do you typically short Bitcoin or do you exclusively buy when it reaches the significant $64,000 and $48,000 zones? So far, we haven't reached the levels where I'm ready to short Bitcoin. Those levels would be 100 and above if they are reached, which I actually doubt a little right now. This isn't merely just an imitation. My consistent actions genuinely back up my sincere words. I truly want to openly share with you precisely what has been happening, quite literally, in great detail. Over the past 2 days, you know that I opened certain positions. I had both Aster open at 72 and Auto here, and I took profit accordingly. So that's already profit. At these levels, I continue to share with the group what I expect next. In short, the basic scenario remains the same. A correction, then a continuation, another correction, upward movement regarding the targets. They are still relevant, but nothing has changed in the market. Really, the overall market is currently very weak, yet many people are actively entering now, and you can impressively see that various altcoins are showing significant 25, 30, even 50% or more gains. But I personally think that it's just an accumulation phase, a stage of accumulation. That's why right now I don't have any long-term positions. I'm basically out of the market again. Right now I'm in stable coins and waiting for good entry points. If you want these entry points, there's a link in the description where you can become my valued referral and gain exclusive access to our private and supportive community group. So another important and frequently asked question, let's carefully take a closer look at and examine the pair. And so it's a very interesting situation. And this is indeed very bullish, very bullish. This is a significant development. This kind of information, as a general rule, significant reversals frequently happen at precisely such critical points, but if we are indeed talking about short-term trading positions, this particular situation looks quite strong and very promising, specifically indicating potential long positions. So you need to look for entry points. I would take some long entries here with liquidity grabs here and here. That's it. Somewhere in this area. That's where I would consider some positions. It's also possible, of course, that this liquidity will be taken out. And after that, a move upward, because that happens very often. However, that is truly more of a heartfelt wish rather than any concrete or specific positions. So this is a daily chart, and obviously you need to wait for those better entry points since I'm a swing trader. Basically, you need good entry points for such positions. At such levels, shorting is also quite risky, especially because we currently have a very sideways market. So that's it for all of our questions for now. About Bitcoin, we still have the same base scenario, meaning a correction, an upward correction, and then a decline afterwards. So February, March for us, but most likely February, we'll see some kind of peak, and after that, a drop to the levels. Okay, this is Rome showing good performance. It's already at $3,250. But in reality, we're still in this range. So maybe we'll even take out some liquidity up here and maybe we'll even see $3,500. But that's just wishful thinking because most likely we'll sink even lower. Down to these levels, 2,200, 2,000. That's where I'm expecting it to go, because let me put it this way. What we're seeing here right now, and really this whole structure, this is not a bullish formation at all, absolutely not. At best, this is the situation. And then a further drop. Well, that's truly the absolute best case scenario we could possibly hope for. As for the ongoing comparison between Rome and Bitcoin, it is consistently showing very good and promising growth, and right now you could accurately say this is precisely the current situation. The significant shelf that we've clearly formed, this acts as a significant support zone, and currently we are clearly seeing a very good, a truly good performance here in this instance. But honestly, however, I just don't feel like buying at 3,500. I'm expecting better entry points and a dip, meaning below these levels. There's volume here, but this one is the priority. Let's highlight it in a more yellow color. This serves as a reference point, And after that, there might be some more movements, meaning we have an impulse. These kinds of corrections happen, but as you can see, these shelves get taken out like this. So I really wouldn't count on that particular outcome. We most likely won't be seeing any super big, significant moves in the market, although the detailed chart clearly shows that it is responding quite exceptionally well to the current evolving situation and prevailing circumstances. Let's put it this way, a lot has changed for us recently. The powerful United States of America has frequently intervened. They captured the president of another country. And right now, currently, the Standard & Poor's 500 index is truly at its remarkable all-time highs. Furthermore, the United States has essentially assumed comprehensive control over everything completely. That is currently happening in the country at this moment. And also, most likely the deposits as well. And there are already rumors that gold reserves worth $3 billion, though this information is unverified. You know, there are a lot of different fakes going around right now. I think if you're following the situation yourself, you see it. There are photos of Maduro in 5 different outfits in just one day. That's precisely why I would carefully filter all the available information, but the undeniable fact still remains. Everyone universally understands that this is indeed a very positive and encouraging sign for the overall economy. The indicator is that the United States is as strong as ever, and so everything seems to be fine, and the index reflects that. But I believe that we will have a correction sooner or later, regardless. In the next 6 months or so, basically. After that, there will be a continuation of some movement, in other words, the uninterrupted growth we're seeing now. Of course, it will end, but most likely after the assault on the $7,000 mark, which acts as a magnet. So only after that. I don't have any long-term or short-term positions in the S&P 500. As you know, that's just my opinion regarding gold. Gold after the drop. Also, after this significant and noticeable drop, it immediately responded with robust and consistent growth. So, moving forward from this point, it genuinely looks like we'll continue to keep going steadily higher and higher. Of course, I initially expected that we would fall a little bit lower to those specific and anticipated levels. And from those particular levels, I thought we would then see a strong rebound. I would have opened some swing positions, but since it didn't happen, I absolutely will not impulsively jump onto a rapidly moving train. As for oil, after some time has passed, everything happened. The special operation. Oil responded with growth, but after that, there was another drop. We will be diligently testing these crucial and significant levels, and only if we decisively break through them, then it will become truly possible to, with great certainty, achieve our objectives. Open some long positions on a breakout to the upside, but only after that point. So even now, I'm not touching or trading oil either. All the forecasts I expect in 2026. I think you can check them out in the previous video, so that's about it regarding other crypto projects. Well, right now there was a rebound for everyone, and I just want to warn you so that you don't make really big, let's say significant bets thinking that everything will be absolutely fine, most likely. This is just the first kind of indicator that some projects are gaining traction there. That way you can clearly see which specific projects are currently getting more significant liquidity. But it's important to remember that this alone is not typically how situations truly turn around. A project doesn't turn around just like that, even if it's a super project like. So let's continue. I have some selection here. I was looking at all this recently. Well, yes, indeed. It's still quite early. It's much too early. It was certainly early, and it's still very much early indeed. So, well, that's the mood you see on Twitter. That's the picture. A lot of influencers are painting this, and as you can see, 500,000 views, that's the situation, and they believe in 360. Well, let's just leave that as it is. It's truly beautifully drawn as a piece of art, but it's quite unlikely to actually happen. But it could happen due to some kind of hyperinflation, let's put it that way. That is because of the devaluation of the dollar. So right now, it's not the time yet. There aren't any factors for exactly that to happen. So what's next for us? Here, basically, it's the same thing. The situation is exactly the same, but as you understand, it's not just one person involved in this. I don't know, maybe they're useful idiots, but there are such publications. Also, we can see this kind of picture being painted. I completely disagree with him. I think we're about here, right here already. But these words, alt season Bitcoin, the current coin rally, while exciting, is ultimately built on nothing more than fleeting hope. The year 2026, unfortunately, will likely be a period marked by numerous broken and deeply unfulfilled hopes and expectations. Again, it's the very same picture, an identical visual representation, but as if they have truly perceived or witnessed, this particular depiction appears considerably more lifelike and authentic to my perception. That's the whole situation, and after that, as a rule, these kinds of drop-offs happen. Next, what do we have? Bull run pattern. Well, this is a very strong pattern. It's good that we have a cool head and we're not in a rush. This is a normal, typical picture, and even for us, for example. Well, let's put it this way. If we go by the classic approach, there's the Elliott wave theory, which I personally don't use for determining entry points or in my trading strategy. But just for understanding, there are 5 waves up and 3 waves down, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then A, B, C, A, B, C. At least let's put it this way. Here we have 0. And right now, this is what's forming. This correction here, and then already an entry downward. Not much else appeals to me. Well, it's really interesting. It's a truly captivating picture. That is indeed the overall plan, this particular one right here. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch. And that's because even after this dashed line, we see an update here as if we were supposed to be right here. And here, I think in September 2025, this exact picture was being drawn, and people were expecting the movement to continue, which is why most people didn't sell. And they keep hoping, we keep showing hope. So right here. Here we have this imposing bear on the market who keeps diligently showing different sparkling diamonds and various other precious gemstones and so on. But despite all his efforts, I don't completely agree, because right now the overall market situation is such that everything appears to be perfectly fine. This is particularly true in the United States, and it's only after significant new highs are definitively reached that I will then expect a potential correction, and that will indeed be a notable event. February, March, April, and beyond. Well, that's quite clear. A truly classic hopium indeed. This is going to be the biggest alt season in history. There won't be, sorry. On what? At whose expense? Yeah, and that's what this talk is about too. Well, you see, everyone, the majority of people are bullish. Bullish. That's actually what scares me, but not our community, which approaches analysis and decision making in financial markets with a cool head. Next. All right. This truly exhausting and significant decline, this draining and prolonged period, and so on. Perhaps there will be a little breakout, a small upward movement, like this over here, eventually. And most likely, this post was published on the 6th. Here we already have the 7th, so most likely right around here. There will be further decline and movement down, 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 because nobody needs these altcoins. Everyone is only watching Bitcoin. Merlin, this is the person with whom I participated in a crypto trading tournament. Well, here he explicitly states that it's precisely the same, and over here it is indeed the very same thing. Truly extreme and profound fare. We're already the entire market has already significantly changed. That is making the crucial decision that absolutely everything has fundamentally changed. Well, it's quite hard to immediately and effectively adjust in the very moment. People need confirmation and so on, but the market doesn't wait for anyone. And honestly, I don't see any favorable factors in the market. Right? Next, we have the same picture, nothing new here, and it's the same story. Basically, you understand what the situation is, and I'll even tell you this. At this point, people already, after this drop, I see, well, again, there was a liquidation here at hundreds of millions, perhaps even billions of dollars, with significant leverage. And this particular situation is not going to happen very often. But you can clearly see these specific instances, these manipulations that are constantly happening here, and they will keep happening because people are just leaving, exiting, taking profits, and so on. And be very careful, because you must always, please, always be very careful. Also, please kindly like this video if you genuinely want to join the exclusive private group and get all the detailed, comprehensive information about precisely what I'm currently doing, what trades I'm making, entry and exit points, and my thoughts on the market. You can also ask absolutely any questions about your portfolio situation and so on. I personally reply to absolutely everyone in my private, dedicated office, so please have a truly great day, and I will see you again in about a week's time. Goodbye for now.